You cast it once, you cast it twice with Ivy. All your spells are very nice.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
This video and my channel are sponsored by Untap.gg. Enhance your metagame by checking out the metagame and tracking all your stats for your decks. You can use Untapped by installing it using the link in my description, and then use the website to figure out, hey, what should I be playing? How have my decks been performing? And become the best there is in Arena. Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing Ivy, the Gleeful Spellthief. This is a Dominaria United commander who has a very cute ability where whenever a player, you, your opponent, it doesn't really matter who, cast a spell that only targets one creature, you have the option to copy that spell onto Ivy. So if your opponent tries to buff their creature in combat with a spell, Ivy says, oh, well I would like that buff as well. Or if you try to, I don't know, enchant one of your creatures with a curiosity effect, like curiosity, Ivy says, oh, how magnificent. I too am very curious. This is a really cool way to add up these copied spells, put auras, put buffs onto your Ivy, and make her into a big beefy creature. But there's a really cool interaction in this deck that you may have noticed. It's kind of like the one in Volo, which is Mutate. I'm a big fan of Mutate. There's only a few Mutate cards, but blue-green are the Mutate colors. That's like where you have the most density of it. There's a lot in black too, but it's mostly blue-green. And Ivy looks at spells targeting creatures. You know what a spell is that targets a creature? A Mutate is. So you get out your itty-bitty little critters, and then you mutate on them, and Ivy copies that mutate, and you end up with two mutate stacks building simultaneously. You also can build in a good amount of protection in this deck using these one-off cards that give you hexproof until end of turn, or give you indestructible. All of these are really good with Ivy, especially if they give you a permanent buff on top of whatever else they're doing, because it helps you save your board against all of the removal that's in Historic Brawl. So we're gonna take this deck into the queue. Oh, it looks like we're gonna get some Izzy Wizzies in the house with Adelis the Cinderwind. This is going to be a Spells and Wizards deck. I feel like Adelis kind of gets outclassed by Balmor. Balmor doesn't have haste. It's another new Dominaria legendary, but kind of does the same thing better. We're gonna start out though by cracking this Fable Passage for blue so I can actually cast Ivy. I don't have a lot of creatures in my hand, so I don't have a lot of good targets for my spells and enchantments, but at least I've got something. Dragon Rage Channeler. That's a shaman, not a wizard. It's kind of like a red wizard, though. That's like flavor-wise. I feel like it's not safe for me to play Ivy here, so I'm not going to. A Goblin Electromancer, going to discount their instants and sorceries by 1 mana. Gonna work great with the Dragon's Rage Channeler, who is going to, when they cast non-creature spells, Surveil, and if they manage to hit Delirium, it gets big, flying, and smashy. Oh, how about a Pixie? I feel like Ivy or the Pixie here are both great. Here it is, it's the Marleaf Pixie. This can tap for blue or green, which are the only two colors in my deck. So we could face down against these guys. Hey, Adelis. What's good? You want to fight my Pixie? No? This is a wizard. They do have that at the ready. But I know what I have, and it's violence. I'm going to use Warbriar Blessing to enchant my Marleaf Pixie and copy the spell, this is an enchantment, onto Ivy. On one of you, I'm going to fight Adelis. Papow. And on the other one, I'm going to fight the Goblin Electromancer. And our opponent is not happy with the turn of events, and I still have a way to protect my Ivy, so that's gonna be game. It's Nethroi, Apex of Death. The big kitty cat who brings things back from the graveyard. This looks like a keepable hand. Even if I'm not really going to be facing off against counterspells, I do like Destiny Spinner. If I play My Shaper Sanctuary here, they'll draw a card because they just played Esper Sentinel. Wow, I hate that. Wow, I hate that. Well, akin to Ivy and my deck, Nethroi is also doing mutate things. At least, probably a little bit of mutate things, because that's how you trigger Nethroi's ability of bringing back creatures with total power 10 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. There's going to be a little bit of self-mill in there too, I'm sure. But I think we're just going to, I don't know, establish ourselves on the board. I do want to pay the 1 here. Here's my Shaper's Sanctuary. Good way for me to draw cards if they try to take out my critters with spells and abilities. Don't you dare. Those are mine. Only I can have spells and abilities. Dark Ritual. Oh, what's all this mana for? What are you doing? They're just casting Nethroi. Okay, so Nethroi's on the battlefield. That's a big critter. That's a scary one. Okay. Sanctum Weaver. That's it. Just Sanctum Weaver. Just sitting here. Just being an O2. Marauding Blight Priest. This is a big lifelinker. It has lifelink and death touch. Darn, if they swung in with the Sentinel, I was kind of looking forward to, yeah, you can draw a card. Sure, you can draw a card, but I'm going to kill you. Okay, Destiny Spinner now. Because I kind of get a mana refunded. Otawara, I'm tempted to actually keep for its channel ability here. We're going to float the extra blue. Use it for some combat research on Destiny Spinner. And we can pay the 1. And I shall scry a land on top of the deck. I don't actually need that. I have a good amount of mana off of my Sanctum Weaver because enchantment, 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 enchantment. And of course, Sanctum Weaver itself is also an enchantment. Cathar's Crusade! Okay, when their creatures enter the battlefield, they get thick, scary, big. They get +1/+1 counters on all of them. And like, Nethroi is just doing damage to me, like a lot of damage. I think I have to be ready to do the bounce. But for now, you know what, we should start with the draw. I'm going to attack with Ivy. I don't really need to attack with this because it wouldn't get through. Okay, they're gonna block with the Grazer. A little surprised at that. I guess they just don't want me, you know, don't want me to draw. An Elder Gargaroth, and I still have a good amount of mana left between all these. Now, how many enchantments do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could actually turn a land into a 5/5, but it would be tapped. We'll just start with a block from the Gargaroth, and I'm going to draw a card. Ooh, Vivian! Take that trade. Good bounce. Don't feel like I need to, though. I think we're doing okay. If they want to mutate here, it's going to cost a ton of mana, and would also not bring back anything of value. Ooh, okay. Their commander's back. They're getting +1/+1 counters, and I'm gonna yeet this back into their hand. Alright, who am I yeeting here? Who am I yeeting? I'm just gonna yeet you. Give myself an attack. They can cast it again. They could even mutate with it. And I will pay my taxes. I like how it chose white. Get rid of Cathar's Crusade because they can't bring that back. They can bring this back using their commander. And now I'll swing on in. Bonk! What are we gonna draw? Ooh, the Starrix! This is like one of my favorite cards. Because if you mutate with it, you get free stuff. It's just value. Pure, simple value. Nethroi's back on the battlefield, and so is a Blood Artist. Blood Artist was really nice with the Blight Priest. Do I care to block? Protect the Vivian? No, not really. Bye, Vivian. I love you, girl. But we're about to do, things. Yes. Things. Things involving big creatures. I want to play the Stormchaser Drake first because mutating on the Sanctum Weaver isn't great for me. And I can't mutate onto Destiny Spinner because it's a human. So we're going to mutate onto Stormchaser Drake, who will draw me a card from its ability. And we're going to copy it onto Ivy. So Ivy is actually going to turn into a token here, which gets weird. Okay, I got a land. Throw Best of Sea Gods in hand. And 1, 2... What was the other spell? Ooh, Arenic's Vile Duplication. We could have made a copy of Ivy with that. We'll swing in for 6 in the air. Deal some damage. Get nasty. Get good. Ooh, land. And pass the turn. Now I got some big scary flyers. I like that. A little bit of ketchup from a ketchup. Now, I don't really feel like counting, but I think that's big enough. Ooh, it is. Alright, so I'm going to try to trade my forest for their commander. Perfect. I love that. I do lose some life from the life gain, from the life loss, and I'm down to 5. Yeah, Spirit Sentinel will be able to block one of these flyers. Let's double up on our life gain abilities here. Swing in with both of these. I'm gonna lose another life from Blood Artist and then another life off the Blight Priest. I'm looking for some life gain. It would be really great if I could find some. Down to 3. I have blocks that don't kill that many creatures. Cure Best the Sea Gods. I'll pay the 2. I'm not holding up for Snakeskin Veil. Ooh, they're just going to cycle the Scattered Groves. Hi, Heliod. Heliod's able to give these lifelink, which is going to trigger the Blight Priest. I think they might have a lethal swing here. That's some nasty business. I don't have a way to prevent all this from dying, but like I could block there and I could block there. Okay, actually, they're just going to attack with the Esper Sentinel, and I'm just going to block with Toski. They give it lifelink. They will gain a life, which will cause me to lose a life. But I'm not dead. I like the part where I'm not dead yet. I also like the part where I get to attack with a lot of creatures and draw a lot of cards. You have to attack. You, and you are all going in. Let's draw some cards. Like a couple. 1, 2, 7. 7 seems good. That seems fine. This seems normal. The Ancestral Mask is nice here. They don't have any creature lands. They do have a way to reanimate with lots of mana. I think we probably had lethal off animating something with Destiny Spinner, but I think you all know I ain't here to do math. So I'm going to play Ugin, the Ineffable. Pay the 2 for the Ugin. Just make a blocker. We also have a bit of extra mana here. Just a little. I'm going to use it on some random spells. What if Toski could fly? I'm also trying to dig for some other cards here. We'll make Toski extra curious. The very, very curious Toski. I'll play Bosaiju. Errant. And I'll just pass. Their things are all tapped down. Galagreeters, I don't think is going to be able to do it. Galagreeters on a board, unable to see another creature. If they were able to gain life, I'd be losing life. That's not what's happening here. We're just going to be swinging in with a killer number of creatures. GG. Teysa Karlov, making death triggers double up, and also buffing tokens. Seems like a keepable hand. We have enchantments, and we have something that has Constellation. And in this case, the Constellation draws us cards. You're going for Mox Amber. Okay. I'm going to start with a Shaper's Sanctuary. I know it's better to get it out if I already have the Citizen Champion on the board, but this helps protect me and my creatures by giving me a little bit of card draw value. Doomed Traveler. When it dies, they get a spirit. Also, if Tace is out, they get 2 spirits. And now actually they would get 4 spirits. Because they put Valor of the Unworthy on it. I'm gonna play my commander, Ivy Gleeful Spellthief. Hey, Vito. Don't want to block that. I would rather have my Ivy still living. I'm gonna get the Citizen Champion on the board. Swing in with Ivy. So for anybody who doesn't know Veto, whenever my opponent gains life, I lose life. And they have an ability to give all their creatures lifelink. I will block with the Citizen Champion. We should all survive here. And now I want to get some double-double. So if we cast Combat Research on Citizen Champion, it's going to be a lot of triggers, and then copy it onto Ivy. We draw cards, we draw cards, we draw cards! My hand is nice and full here. I'll reveal an island. Now if I want to mutate with the Migratory Greathorn, I can't mutate onto the Citizen Champion because it is not non-human. So I'm just going to swing in with Ivy. Draw a card. Glowstone Recluse. Nice. I'm going to play the Glowstone Recluse. This is going to be another mutate target. It itself does have mutate, but it has this bonus of whenever it mutates, it gets 2+1/+1 counters. So it should get pretty big. Pretty big and chunky. Also not a human at all. I don't want them to have all those spirits though, so I'm going to try to avoid killing the Doom Traveler as much as I can. Let's mutate though onto the Glowstone Recluse. And copy it onto Ivy. What are you doing? I see you have 1 mana up. You have interaction. Oh gee, I hope not. Something nice about Combat Research is not only does it give me a curiosity-like effect, because my commander is legendary, it also got +1/+1 and Ward. I'm a little afraid of Swords to Plowshares, but it would only really be able to hit this or this. With only 1 mana up, that Ward 1 is successfully protecting Ivy. Falconwrath Noble, though, just kind of floating here in the air, saying, gee, I wish you still had 2 toughness so we could trade. We're gonna copy. And Migratory Greathorn. Ivy now becomes a token. Don't question it. This is normal. And this is just gonna get big and chunky. Get lots of mana out here. We don't really need all this mana. We kind of have too much. And in the air, I will swing in with the Migratory Greathorn that is actually Ivy underneath. Ooh, maybe it's Village Rites! I was going to say, maybe it's a way for them to sacrifice it. Well, I think they're going to go for a big block, because they're going to have all of these spirits. I'm losing life. And if they block with just the tokens, we're okay. Yeah, because that's 4. And we can bring it to 3. They're still going to get a lot of triggers off Veto and Falconwrath Noble. Do I want to copy that? No, I don't. This lets me clone my commander. I'm going to keep this on top because remember, my commander's not legendary anymore. Yes, I did lose Ward, though. RIP. It's pretty fun. Mutate is a very strange mechanic. So, Vito and the Falcon Wrath Noble are going to drain me for almost all my life here, which is kind of scary. And down to 3. Oh gosh, I thought I had more than that. I thought I had more time! Now if I block, I think I die. And if I don't block, I think I die. I think, perhaps, I die. No matter what we do, they can even give all of their creatures lifelink. I think that's gonna be game. GG, Taysa! And we get triggers on triggers on triggers on triggers. All doubled up by Taysa. Thanks, Taysa. I knew this was going to happen. And I hope you guys enjoy this next match because it's going to be a bit of a mess. My opponent is also playing Ivy. And Ivy's ability is... well, we both designed our decks around it. Which means, we'll both get to copy spells. It's gonna get a little weird. It's gonna get a little weird. This is actually, I would say, one of the harder ways to play this deck is in a mirror match. It feels like very often one player is going to snowball, and maybe because my opponent is the second best player, according to them, it says it right there in their name, we'll have a slight advantage. This will go first, which is nice. And I'm going to start with some green. Some of that good green stuff. Go for Ivy. Blue and green have fight spells and they have counter spells, but removal for something like a flyer, you'd have to be running a plummet type effect, and you're just not going to see that many of them. So I do not want to cast any of these. The Starlit Mantle or the Ancestral Mask, because it would be symmetrical. Now I'm going to offer them a trade, like, hey, my Ivy for your Ivy? No? Okay, we're good. It's a Tessin Champion. Nice. So that's going to be a way for them to outvalue me. At least, potentially. And I'm happy that I have Vivian, because that's that plummet effect I was looking for that should be able to take out Ivy. And we're swinging in! 4 damage, please. I'm not casting anything, because I don't want them to have copies of it. If I were, I'm just going to say, for example, if I cast Starlit Mantle on my Stormchaser Drake, I would get a copy on my Ivy. They would get a copy on their Ivy. Yes, I would absolutely love to have that. Thank you. They would draw a card from their Constellation ability. This is going to be silly. They've got a good attack here. They're going to get some good damage in. And now Ivy does have Ward, which means that I can't just -3 my Vivian to take her out. They're going to also draw some cards. They're very much outvaluing me with their start. And it's my turn. What are you going to discard? You got to discard 2 cards. There's a land. Oh, Vivian, my dear, my dearest, my beloved. I don't think I want to play you. Now, if I go for Mask, I want to only do this if I think I have lethal. So I'm actually going to do like a quick math check. This might work because my opponent's stuff is tapped. We're going to do Ancestral Mask on Stormchaser Drake. They are going to get copies of this. They're going to get to draw cards. If they have counter spells, that's a bummer. Alright, so they now have a 9/8. They're going to draw a card. But using the power of math, which I totally did, we have a lethal swing. So in we go. Ivy and the Stormchaser Drake, and we have a way to protect these two. Lethal? Hey, we did it! Sometimes it's just all about the timing with your tricks. It's Kaikar Wind's Fury. That means they're going to be making spirits by casting spells with their birdie friend. And keep this. I don't have blue mana, so I can't cast my commander, but I do have some other good cards. Oh, just kidding. I now have blue mana. I can cast my commander. So Kaikar is a birdie, bird wizard. Whenever they cast a non-creature spell, they get spirits, and they can sacrifice those spirits to make mana. And I can already tell you that my opponent's deck is not fun, because they just played a Brawl. Brawl, like, this is just a marker of madness. I don't like Brawl. It's a 2-mana 1/3. Discounts their instants and sorceries. That part's fine. But whenever they counter a spell, they can loot, which helps them find more counter spells, which is just not what I personally want to see in a deck. I'm gonna swing in with Ivy, see if they kill her first. They did not. And I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to pretend that I have a way to protect Ivy. Yes, definitely. Ways to protect Ivy. I have those. Fun fact about Brawl, he was actually banned in the original standard 60-card Brawl, and a lot of people attribute the format not taking off to the fact that it took a while for Brawl to be banned. So, like, while you had this new format from Wizards of the Coast, just kind of, you know, starting to pop up, it got just turned into this counterspell bonanza by Brawl. It was just... it was sad. It's unfortunate. The counterspells are very consistent, by the way. That's part of why that happened. Uh-oh. I don't like this. My opponent is doing some double-double here. Oh, but it's to go wide. That's respectable. That's pretty cool. My opponent is doubled Bossry's Solidarity. Getting tons of counters on the Spellgorge are weird. What if this person's just like, no, I'm just here for the discount. I'm just living my best discounted life. I'm down with that. Let's go for a Parcelbeast onto my Scootaloo. Scoot Swarm Mutate is another thing I really love, because you can start making copies of your Scoot Swarm. If I can get one more mana, then we will get there. And these guys can actually activate to try to get lands. I think I'm going to leave at least one of them back. You know, let's leave them both back and do that. That sounds fun. That sounds fun. We get tall and we get wide. Whirlwind of Thought is going to give them card draw, card draw, card draw whenever they cast these non-creature spells. I think I might have missed out on a Bugaboo on the previous turn, which becomes a little Blockaboo. And now, activate Parcelbeast! What is it? Okay, it was not a land, it's a 6 cents. Activate the other Parcelbeast. Shaper's Sanctuary. These are not lands. I'm gonna start with Rune of Might. Copy, copy. Get +1/+1 and trample on my creatures and draw cards. I really want that 6th land. I'm thirsty for that land. Yeah, there it is. All right. So this land is going to get me another Scoot. Another little Scooty bug. Little Scooty Patootie. Shaper's Sanctuary could get me some card draw. I'm actually going to play out, though, Jugon Defends the Temple, which is going to make a 1/1, and then put some counters, and then turn into a dragon. Awesome. And we're going to chill. I'm maintaining my activated abilities on the Parcelbeast, my Snakeskin Veil, and also my beautiful, beautiful blockers. God's Willing. Oh, are you going to give it protection from maybe blue and green? I'll take that. Yeah, that gets me a Scry. Let's get protection from red. Llanowar Elf? Don't really need that. My hope is to get a River's Rebuke off against them. Also, ideally, there would be a land on top, so I could, like, activate this ability and then make another Scoot Beast. The dream. Oh, they thirsty? Ooh, they thirsty? They have so many cards in hand. They did have to name green on this, so this couldn't block it. Fading Hope on Parcelbeast. Do I want to copy that? No, I don't. Do I want to protect? Not really, I'm just gonna activate. I can re-mutate. And we take 10. Big ouch. Big oof. Now chart a course? Oh, you still had more spells to cast. You sure did. Okay. So remember, this is also a scoot. A scutate. It's beautiful. So we're going to mutate onto our scutate. I could have also gone for like a River's Rebuke here, but this is just so fun. Just look at it go. Just look at it go. Play a land to get a copy of that. And do I feel like mutating again? Getting some protective spells? I feel like I don't really need to. I'll play Shaper Sanctuary. And then I'm going to attack with Ivy. I have to discard 3 cards. Alright, I'll drop 6 cents. Parcelbeast, Forest. And I clicked on 6 cents. There we go. Now, fingers crossed they don't have a way to break through this line, give this trample or anything else. Or just have burn for my face. Because the thing I didn't do was gain life. Strategic planning. They're digging, they're digging. They're digging even deeper into the deck. By the way, so far, I've seen no counterspells from them. Cheers. Love to see it with a Brawl. I'm always terrified when I see an early Brawl, because to me, the inclusion of Brawl in a lot of decks is just not a good sign. It's a sign of sadness and madness. Ooh, Symmetry Save. This is the alchemy version of Symmetry Save. So it does make power into 3. Seagate Stormcaller, unkicked. Does still copy a spell. And a Fateful Absence onto the Dreamtail Heron. Okay. This is... I'm trying to, like, even see what's in the stack. Resolve. Decline. Draw the card. Weird gets its counter. The Stormcaller doubles it. We get to draw again. Draw a card. Yes. And I'd rather protect this one than this one. So I'll let that die. You get the +3/+3. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have the right colors of mana to stop them. Because now they have 2 different attackers able to deal 5 damage. So now I only have 1 blocker, and they have 2 potential lethal attackers. They're gonna swing in, and we're gonna die. Ripperino, Kaikar. Ooh, my opponent's gonna get their booty on with Arcades the Strategist. That's a Walls deck. You're going to be playing defenders, 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 and defenders, and then attacking me with them. Arcades is, I would say, an aggro deck, which is very strange, and just got a couple of new cards from Dominaria United. There were actually some interesting cards for a Walls build. Some Sanctum Weaver. Want to make sure I have some mana to use. They've got 4 mana, maybe more mana. I like the idea of throwing down this Rhino, though. I'm going to lay down Gnarlback Rhino. Here comes Arcades! Like their ramp already present on the battlefield. Well, yeah, well, who can play that game? I'm just going to set up, though. And sit here. I did tap out, but right now I'm not the most scared of this turn. I'm more scared of, like, next turn, where there's a good chance they're going to have lethal or a near lethal amount of damage on the board. No blocks. They didn't attack in with the battlement. Either they didn't want to trade or they want that mana for something. Right now they have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana being held up. That could be counter spells. That could be a lot of different things. So let's try to put a Rune of Might onto the Gnarlback Rhino. Copy it on Ivy for our sweet Circus of Value. Setessan Champion is going to see the copy enter, get a +1/+1 counter, draw me a card. It draws me a card. Gnarlback Rhino being targeted draws me a card. The Rune of Might draws me a card, and Setessan Champion will draw me a card. I love card draw. It's just so fun. I am going to shock this in, shock it up, and then I'm going to play Curious Obsession on the Gnarlback Rhino. We're going to, again, get a lot of value out of this. More cards, more fun, more big, more better! Now if I play the Dryad, I'll be able to draw another card, because it is an enchantment, play another land. I've got 5 mana floating over here. Let's go for Tusky? Tusky's cool. And now we will go to combat, and I do have to swing with a creature in order to maintain the curious obsessions that I have. I'm gonna let it hit. It's going to draw me more cards from Tusky and from the obsession. More lands. More fun! Okay, and I'm just holding up my slip out the back because I feel like phasing out Arcades could be pretty sweet. I am going to drop this land, this Paradise Druid, and that's it. The Arcane Signet's coming down. Slaughter the Strong. Ooh. Now I can phase out 2 of my creatures. Or I could stop them from attacking me. Alright, so they're going to be hitting me for 11. That's not lethal, so I think I'm just going to go for protecting my 2 biggest creatures. I think Gnarlback Rhino and Ivy would be good. And like, we can also, like, we have a couple things we can keep alive. So we're going to phase out Gnarlback Rhino and Ivy. They don't exist. They're not on the battlefield. Then they vanish like a ghost. And I'm going to keep you, you, and you alive. Goodbye, Setessan Champion. You got me a lot of value. But our opponent was caught off guard by a phasing trick. Not indestructible, because this one forces sacrifices, but phasing. And yes, that's going to win us the game because they cannot deal with our board remaining as strong as it is. Good game, Arcades. I am once again embroiled in a mirror match of Ivy versus Ivy. I'm going to keep this hand, and I'm going to hope that they cast spells that help me, because I don't actually have spells in my hand that would help them. So we're going to hope that this goes in our favor in the IV battle. I'm going to decline on paying 2 life for Breeding Pool, and we're going to see what happens. This is one of like the strangest mirror matches just because of how it plays out. Let's go for a Marleaf Pixie. And here comes Ivy! They already have a spell to counter to copy though. Off 1 green mana. I didn't play my Ivy, so I do not get to make a copy of that. And I can hold up Frilled Mystic here. I could play Ivy. I could play Destiny Spinner. I kind of like just like throwing down Ivy or just Destiny Spinner and being like, hey, yeah, I'll block. I'll block and trade with you. How about this? I'm gonna play out both. Remember, any combat trick they want to use on their Ivy will also be used on my Ivy. But there's going to be a certain order of resolution that will get kind of funky chunky. I block. Okay, that seemed just fine. Bring back Ivy. Hello, Stormchaser Drake. Go ahead and play out beside you. And then bring Ivy back. And what I want to do next turn is I want to mutate. But for right now, I'm just going to go for some combat research. And I'm going to throw combat research on Marleaf Pixie because she's up in the air and nice and evasive. And copy it onto Ivy while their Ivy is not out. I would rather keep back Destiny Spinner to block. I will not be blocking with Ivy. Even against the 1/1. Hi, Ivy. Nice to see you. I don't want them to have mutate. Only Amy can have mutate. I'm going to attack you with the Marleaf Pixie. The enchanted Marleaf Pixie. They're letting it through, which means I'm going to get to draw a card. Was a land, and I'm going to sit here, worried. I do have a counterspell though. I have the Frilled Mystic, which is a elf lizard wizard. Oh my gosh, do I get to mutate? I love when I get to mutate. Now, do I want to counter the original after I get my copies on? Yeah, I kind of do. They'll already get to draw, but I can reduce the bigitude of one of those critters. You know, I want to make Ivy a little less impressive. So I'm going to actually hit the copied spell with the Frilled Mystic. I wonder if I could have, like, hit earlier on the stack. So it wouldn't have anything to copy. I'm not good at stacks. I don't know how things go. I ain't no judge. Judge, my opponent has a flying beast. My turn? Ooh, okay, so you saw in the earlier game that Ancestral Mask, in certain circumstances, can be a game-demolishing, beautiful thing. I'm not going to make that one of these circumstances. I'm just going to play Guardian Project. And our opponent is going to give up because they don't have a Guardian Project. Card draw for me and not for thee. And I'm going to say good game to our opponent and to all our other opponents that we played against today. I feel like during this recording, I had a much better win rate than I started the day with. So thank you everybody for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. As always, if you'd like to watch me record these live, you should come over to twitch.tv/Amazonian, where I play Magic almost every day. Hope to see you there.